But what about the bread? Do you know how bread is made? Let's find out. How is it made?
Bread.
This is a bakery. There are lots of different types of bread made here, and the main ingredient is flour.
So I've come to a mill, and here they make flour. But this flour here is made from a plant that's grown on farms. It's called wheat. And this is called an ear of wheat. Inside this bit at the top, we find some grains. And these grains are taken into the mill to be turned into flour. First, the grains are crushed by rollers into smaller pieces. This is called milling. Next, the milled grains go through this strange-looking machine. It's called a sifter. It works a little bit like a sieve you might have at home, only this one is a giant wobbly box. It gets rid of all of the rough bits and leaves only the soft flour. And here we have the finished flour straight from the sifter. It's lovely, light and soft. The flour is loaded into a lorry called a tanker through this big yellow tube. And then it'll be driven off to the bakery, ready to be turned into a loaf of bread. And this is the bakery. The tanker is offloading the flour into these enormous containers called silos. There are smaller silos which contain the other ingredients: salt mixed with water, vegetable fat and yeast. Do you know what yeast is? Well, it's a special ingredient that helps make bread rise. It works best when it's kept nice and warm. All of the main ingredients come into the bakery through pipes in the ceiling, and then they go to a giant mixer. Look at that! A huge ball of bread dough just plops out. That would make one enormous loaf of bread, wouldn't it? The dough goes into this machine to be divided. Each chunk makes one loaf. If you've ever made bread at home, you'll know you have to do something called kneading. And kneading is when you use the heel of your hand to press and stretch the dough. It makes it stretchy and elastic, which helps the bread to rise.